Hello, word wizards. This is SilentSigns from I Dream of Indie. Today we are taking a look at Lost Words Beyond the Page, a 2D platformer with a whole lot of heart. Get your pen and paper ready, and maybe some tissues as well, because this one's definitely a tear-jerker. In Lost Words Beyond the Page, you play as a young girl named Izzy, who is an aspiring writer. She's full of life and vibrancy and creativity. She loves her family, and in particular, her gran. The whole story is narrated by Izzy and switches between Izzy's journal and the story and character that she's creating. In Izzy's journal, we get to learn a little bit about her relationship with her gran and the difficulties she faces when gran suddenly has a stroke. In the fantasy world of her story, we get to learn more about this character that she's created and the adventures that she goes on to rescue her village. You'll come to find very quickly that these stories and themes start to overlap as her real life starts to seep into her fantasy world. The gameplay in Lost Words Beyond the Page is pretty simplistic platforming with just a touch of puzzle solving. It's very light puzzle solving and quite easy to get through. In the world of Izzy's journal, you're controlling a little figure across the text, and you'll need to do some light platforming to jump from one page to the next. You'll definitely have to hit on certain keywords within the text in order to advance the story, and ultimately escape through a little sliver in the page. There are little blue and black asterisks within the journal, which you can collect to get a few little bits of text. And sometimes you'll need to drag a word around the page, either to make a choice in a sentence, or to use it as a platform, or some other creative ways. In the fantasy world that Izzy has created, however, her character has word magic. She has a book full of magic words that she can use to interact with her environment. Some words will be with you for almost your entire journey, others will only be there for a short period of time, but all of them will help you interact with the environment and collect the lost fireflies from your village. You'll use your word magic to repair bridges, to lift platforms, to ignore obstacles, and to make new friends. Since Izzy is still writing this story, you do need to make choices of words which will impact your character. While Lost Words Beyond the Page isn't particularly challenging gameplay-wise, it is definitely effective at tugging at your heartstrings, and it does it often. Keeping in theme, the story is also incredibly well written. It was done by Rhianna Pratchett, who's also been involved with Mirror's Edge as well as the Tomb Raider series. What this game lacks in challenge, it more than makes up for in creativity and overall appeal. This game is absolutely stunning to look at, from the diary entries with the beautiful watercolor portraits to these fantastical worlds that the character is thrown into. I also really loved how the two worlds intersect both story-wise and in visuals. You'll see a tear in the notebook which leads to the fantasy world, and occasionally within the fantasy world you'll see a tear showing a notebook page and some choices for Izzy to make. It really throws you right into the story writing process and the emotions that Izzy is experiencing as she learns about loss and growing up. One thing I do have to say I was not particularly fond of was the fact that when you used one of the magic words, it would remain on the screen and you kind of have to drag it around. Sometimes it would get in the way of what you were actually trying to do, especially if you pulled out the wrong word at the wrong time, a concept I am all too familiar with being an incredibly awkward human being. I did also find that sometimes the delay after a cutscene would be just a hair too long and make me think that I was supposed to be doing something when I couldn't. Both minor complaints. The game played beautifully. I had no real issues with it performing on my laptop, apart from maybe just some minor screen tearing and not having a VSync option available. Not game-breaking by any means, but something worth noting. The audio in Lost Words Beyond the Page is incredibly well done. It is, as I mentioned, fully narrated and voice acted, and I thought the voice acting in this game was exceptionally well done. Coupled with the soundtrack, which has these sparse piano lines with beautiful strings and really helps drive home the emotions of this game. Even the sound effects, everything comes together in such a cohesive way, and the presentation of Lost Words Beyond the Page is truly exceptional. If you're looking for a game that isn't necessarily taxing on your brain, but is definitely taxing on your emotions, Lost Words Beyond the Page is one to check out. I should mention that Lost Words Beyond the Page is less War and Peace and more Animal Farm in length. I'd say it will take you about 4 hours to complete, and the only reason to go back in would be to collect any fireflies you may have missed, or to make different choices. I'd say you should bookmark this one for your digital shelf.
From the top. Not so far away, in the lands of Astoria. A place of peace and magic.
Before I go, I just wanted to thank our indie warriors, Mitchell Hall, Kevilo, Bunny, Bill Tikaz, Christian Cruz, Wesley William Semple, Strick9, Rosie Syntax, Chris Jackson, Nathan Moore, Peach, Adriana Amato, and CJR. Thank you all so much for your support, and thank you for watching this video. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any reviews or previews, and check out the description box for links to our Discord if you'd like to chat, as well as a bunch of other ways to support the channel and how to become an indie warrior yourself. Thank you again for watching, and I'll see you next time.